What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about how big Factions mode, or the multiplayer mode, in The Last of Us Part 2 will end up being. We've talked about parts of this game before. I've talked about potential release dates. I've talked about, like a free upgrade or a Game of the Year edition for The Last of Us Part 2. We've talked about if we have to pay for the multiplayer for it. So I want to kind of go back to a couple of those, discuss, my thoughts on all of them, and ultimately try to figure out how big of a mode this is. It's kind of just because I'm not getting tired. I'm not like demanding it tomorrow. I don't want people to take it the wrong way, but I definitely want it. I'm getting very interested. We're into a new year. We're approaching, we're not there yet, but we're approaching almost a year of the last, if you can believe it, of The Last of Us Part 2 being out. And so, it's just like, okay, well, eventually this is going to come out. And so I want to talk about all aspects of it. So as always, make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on. If you guys want to join our Discord server, the link for that is in the description below. All right, let's get into it. So honestly, I think this is going to be enormous. Now, there was rumors, there were leaks, and sometimes I get them all confused because sometimes there's leaks, sometimes it's people just like speculating, and I get them confused because I read so much about all of these things. But the idea of a battle royale is something that I think was brought up rather early, and I feel like it does fit. I feel like it's something. I think even there were rumors, or there is rumors like right now, Halo Infinite may even have a battle royale mode attached to it. It's hot right now. It's it's all the hip words that the kids say nowadays. It's all of those, and I really feel like while I don't necessarily need it or even want it, I think it will probably make its way into a game. Now, I think I have talked about it before with The Last of Us Part 2. It would be a very because I don't play many Battle Royale games. Yes, I know every game under the sun now is one, but I really don't play all that many of them. Some of them are pretty darn good, though, I will say. But a game like this, where it is factions, it is you fighting against other online people, but also if you throw in like a horde, like zombies or the infected, right? You throw them in and you make it a battle royale. I think honestly that would be very, very cool. When we talk about like how big it is, obviously I think a lot of the modes, in which there's not that many, that were in The Last of Us 1's, factions, they would all return, okay? Obviously new maps, new characters, all that stuff, probably going more a way towards like Uncharted 4, where they're the character. And well, actually that is debatable because they didn't do that with the first game, right? It's not the actual characters in the game, it's like other random people. Uncharted has always done the real people in the game. Last of Us Part 2, they could do the characters from the first game as well as more characters from the second game, right? Throw Dina in there, throw Jesse, like all of these characters, throw them all in there. And I think that would be, maybe that would kind of break the immersion, and maybe that's why they didn't do it with the first game, maybe why they won't do it if they don't, right, for the second game. But I definitely think it's possible. Obviously, new maps. You could even say expanding how many people are playing at once. I think it was 4v4 was always the thing at the most that you could do in the first game. I think, you could probably up that, especially if you give a little bit more room to move. And if you do Battle Royale, obviously that expands it. If you do something where you do Infected, which is another thing we've talked about, do you do like an Infected mode where you're fighting, those infections? Maybe you could have people play as them. That's going down a slightly different path, right? These are all definitely possibilities. I think where we're at now, we're almost, again, like I said, we're almost a year after the first game came out. I don't know. I feel like it's got to be very, very big in order to get this, in order to, I guess, have people accept that it's taken them this long. The way they've handled it, the way they did it, I'm not the biggest fan of. It almost seems like, I think it actually is, they started the multiplayer very, very late into the life of this game, within the last year. 1 year before, so let's say summer of 2019 seemingly is when they start, or maybe the beginning of 2019 is when they started making the multiplayer of this game, which you could say, well, it's been it's been like a year and a half, 2 years, 1 year, depending on when they actually started it, but it's been quite a while. And unless this thing is enormous, I really feel like, and again, this is not Alex saying, oh, I want this tomorrow, I'm demanding it, so it's not you guys telling me, hey, they'll do it when they're ready, or stop crying, or all the stupid stuff people will sometimes say. I'm not saying that, right? I'm just saying it's been quite a while since they started making this multiplayer, and I just feel like we're gonna get something big that goes into, and again, this is kind of like a recap of all the stuff we've talked about before too. It goes into the price. Is this game gonna have a price to it? Now, I know I keep looking to Halo, and Halo is not the same as The Last of Us, but you look at maybe there's Battle Royale and all that stuff. And the multiplayer for The Last of Us Part 2, honestly, is important. We talked about that a year ago, that no matter if you hated or loved the story of the game, the multiplayer is going to bring, I think, very different people into it no matter what. People that loved the game, the story, will jump into it. People that hated it maybe will even jump into it because it's very different. Obviously, it's very different. People that aren't going to get it because they don't do single player games, they do multiplayer games, they could get it now. You know what I mean? And if it's at like a reduced price or whatever, they would get it. So, and again, that goes to, would you have it be free? Would you have to pay for it? That's where it becomes very, very tough, right? Because like someone like me or you or whatever, like I have the game, okay? I have the digital edition. This is the base, the standard edition of this game. If you made us pay for it, again, would we do like a discounted price? Do you get discounts if you already have the game? Is it the same price for everybody? Is it free to play? Again, if it's free to play, as long as they do it where, because again, they're going to have to make money somehow. So obviously there'll be cosmetics. And even The Last of Us, the first games, the factions mode, there are a lot of things like on the store that you could like buy with like real world money. Honestly, that never impacted me, that never made me mad at them or anything like that. So I think that is completely cool. They would probably, I would imagine, whether or not it's free or not, they would probably do that as well. Actually, let me take that back. If you have to pay for it, even if you have the game, if you have to pay like $10 and then say it's like $20 for everybody else, then I don't think there should be any cosmetic, honestly, because it's Naughty Dog, it's Sony, it's a big game, they've made money. I get the need to make more money. At the same time, if you're charging for the multiplayer on top of the game, the base game that we already played, it's getting 5,000 Game of the Year awards or whatever the number is. I know obviously that is an exaggeration, but I don't think you would. I really don't think that would be a good idea to overcharge through cosmetics and through stuff like that. Obviously, not like blocking certain things out of the game, right? But I'm expecting some stuff. I had the theory a year ago. I'm rounding by actually quite a bit, but when The Last of Us came out, Part 2 came out last June, I had said like a month or so ago, I made a video on this, that I think, there'll be a PS5 version of these games. The Last of Us, I said it would go well with DLC. It would go well with the factions if you kind of bundle it. And not bundle in as in you need to get next gen in order to play the multiplayer, but bundle it as in, hey, we're going to do the multiplayer. We're going to release it. We're going to release it at the same time that we're also going to do a next-gen version. And I said that for The Last of Us, and I said that for Ghost of Tsushima. Now, Ghost of Tsushima, wildly enough, did actually do a multiplayer mode, which I had in a way predicted, but I never actually thought they would do it, and they did. Now, they didn't do a PS5 version. They didn't do a next-gen version, at least yet. And by the way, I'm not talking about, like, upscaling it or, like, playing it backwards compatible. I get that, but I mean, like, a free upgrade, like a next-gen actual version. So we haven't gotten it for either of these games, but we're approaching, yes, it's a couple months away, but we are approaching the 1-year anniversary of both of them. Do we get something? I really do think so. In fact, there's been enough rumors to suggest we are going to get both of them. And then when we think about The Last of Us, it goes into, okay, well, why did they wait so long? Because truly, I bet you they could have had it out earlier. And again, it's not me saying I'm demanding that it came out a month ago and I'm so mad. No, I feel like maybe internally they're waiting and they're saying, well, we have a PS5 version ready. Let's, keep working on it. Let's polish it. But let's wait. Let's hold on to it until we get the multiplayer. Because the multiplayer is so big, it's taking so long that we want to put them out together. So I really do think the multiplayer is probably slowing them down, which is okay. But I do think this multiplayer is actually going to be really, really big. We think of this year as Kena, Returnal, Ratchet & Clank, Horizon, right? Even Gran Turismo, which obviously is a huge player base. That's kind of different than the, maybe even who I talk to, right? But we think of all of those games. In reality, if you put out The Last of Us Part 2's multiplayer this year, that would be a big thing. Again, free or not, it would be big. I guarantee you there'd be many, many modes. There'd be a lot of people that are either going to jump back into it or would buy it for the very first time just to play the multiplayer. And it would be a really big experience. I really loved the first game's multiplayer. I would have preferred the second game's multiplayer at launch, but again, I get it. I would absolutely play the heck out of the, and I think yesterday, depending on when you guys are seeing us, Destruction All-Stars, exclusive multiplayer kind of events or games are pretty cool. I always try to get into them really for any of these things, so I would absolutely do it for The Last of Us. So let me know, guys, in the comments below, anything you want. When do you think it's coming out? What do you think is going to be in it? All of those things. let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. Again, if you guys want to join our Discord server, link for that is in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.